Finally, into the tight end position. We have a 10-man league, one tight end. So I don't know if that's deeper than normal. I actually have no idea. But my risers are number 1, Kyle Pitts. He was really highly touted coming into the year. People had him as the tight end 4 on the draft boards, and he sort of slipped all the way down to tight end 8, 9 in a lot of draft boards rankings over the last couple of weeks. And his scoring hasn't been insane. So I think there would be a lot of owners who are quite low on him right now. However, if you look at his underlying numbers, there's actually not that much to be concerned about. On the weekend, he had 3 red zone targets, and he's had 8 on the season. And at an average rate, they convert every 4 red zone targets into a touchdown. So right now, he should have 2 touchdowns on the year, which would inflate his average pretty dramatically. Right now, he's just, whether it be him or Ryan, they're just not converting them into touchdowns. But if he's one of Ryan's favorite touchdown targets, their run game isn't killing it right now with Mike Davis struggling and the O-line struggling. I could definitely see Pitts becoming one of his favorite options down the stretch. And yeah, I just think, as all draftees do, he's going to get better as the season goes on. So I think Kyle Pitts is a good option this week, and he might be being undervalued. The other one's Dawson Knox. Everyone's sort of high on this guy at the moment, and I was sort of skeptical, but I did look at the numbers, and I can definitely see why everyone's keen on him. He's had 7 red zone targets on the year. He's in a absolutely flying high Bills offense, and there are quite a few mouths to feed there, but ultimately, if he's one of Josh Allen's favorite red zone targets, that's all we need. So, you don't want to get in a situation where you're getting these TD or bust tight ends, but I think Knox is a little bit more than that, and he's also a bit like Gronkowski. He's in a situation where he's going to score a TD that often, where it's almost not like it is better than just a TD or bust situation. So, yeah, I do like Dawson Knox, especially as some of the big dog tight ends aren't functioning as well as we were expecting. My fallers, I didn't want to put him in here because I've put him in here about 3 times, but I do own him, so I do see what he puts up every week, and that's George Kittle. On the weekend, I do think he got dogged by Trey Lance coming in. I think when Trey Lance came in, he had 3 targets, 3 catches, and then by the end of the game, he had 4 catches, 10 targets. So Lance was looking at him, which was good, but he wasn't hitting him. And I just think Kittle's going to be really solid. I think he will definitely be a top 5 tight end, maybe top 4. But for me, what really limits his ceiling is he hasn't had a red zone target yet. And I'm hoping no one in my league is listening to this. But yeah, that's definitely a concern for me. I think there's been 6 or 7 blokes who've had a red zone target, and he hasn't had one yet. And as we know, in the tight end position, scoring is so important. And yes, it's good that he can score points elsewhere, but ultimately, if he's not going to get in the pay dirt, then his ceiling is sort of brought down a bit. So I think just consistency over the year, he will be top 5. But right now, I think his name value and his reputation in fantasy precedes him. And I think you could definitely get something quite good for him when he's not really putting out much. And then finally, Dallas Goedert is my final faller. As I just mentioned, you don't want to TD or bust tight end, and ultimately Dallas Goedert has sort of become that. He's averaging around 3 catches per game. So let's say he has 3 catches for 30 yards. That's 6 points. So without TDs, he's averaging around 6 points. So yeah, that's just really, really not good to see. A lot of the Philadelphia receivers are only going to get better with Jalen Reagor, Devonta Smith, and Quez Watkins all very early on in their careers. And yeah, it's just not good to see. Dallas Goedert was actually someone who I was pretty high on the last couple of weeks, and I tried to get him from the owner of Goedert in my league, but ultimately I'm quite happy I avoided that. However, I do have Logan Thomas, who went down injured. There's obviously a lot of injured players who their stock fell this week, like Montgomery and Thomas and others, but I'm not going to include them because, it's a bit of a cop-out saying an injured player is a faller because that's sort of taken as read. So,
it's a miracle! Oh, yeah! What about that one? Unbelievable! Balotelli, Aguero! Crowd cheers. Here's Kittle.